Namaskritya Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayanti Nashtipraye Shravratreshu Nityam Bhagavatasya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhagavati Naishtiti. So continuing with the discussion on Prabhupada Lilamrita by Srila Goswami, we are starting new chapter, chapter 44. Let there be a temple. Srila Prabhupada's first two stops in Europe were Rome and Geneva. In both places, devotees had arranged many outside speaking engagements as well as meetings with important guests in Prabhupada's room. The Rome temple was a small house at a busy intersection near Piazza Lodi. Traffic was relentless, its noise penetrating into Prabhupada's quarters within the temple building. I hope the noise of the traffic doesn't bother you too much. Dhananjay, the temple president, apologized. No, Prabhupada replied, this sound is very pleasing. It means that this is a very important part of your Rome. This is a very good location. At the Villa Borghese, in a hotel hall built to seat 500 people, Prabhupada spoke before a crowd of more than 1,000. Prabhupada was pleased by the enthusiastic gathering of Italians who behaved as if coming to receive the blessings of the Pope. They were pious, but they had not been taught properly how to engage in the Lord's service. This, he said, was the one defect. Although the devotees had arranged a meeting between Prabhupada and the Pope was ill. So Prabhupada met with Cardinal Pinadoli, who was in charge of non-Christian liaisons. In flying to Geneva, Prabhupada and his secretaries viewed the snow-covered Alps. This is a very dangerous spot, Prabhupada remarked. As a plane flew above the Alpine peaks, many planes have crashed here. I believe, if I'm not wrong, बहुत पहले मैंने पढ़ा था, read it, that when Prabhupada saw this Alps mountain in Switzerland, he said these mountains go to heavenly planets. I think, yeah, that's what he said. These mountains extend all the way to heavenly planets. Then devotees are surprised that, Prabhupada, we don't see it. They are just here for a few thousand meters, that's all. Prabhupada said, just because we don't see it doesn't mean they don't extend. So I have to find the real quote. I'll post it. See, Prabhupada's vision was completely different. What he could see, we don't even know. In Geneva, the mayor offered Prabhupada an official reception. Everything went smoothly according to diplomatic protocol. Afterward, the mayor asked frankly, if everyone became like you are saying, wouldn't the economy be threatened? Prabhupada said no, and he quoted the same words he had given to press reporters in Hyderabad. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Grains are produced by rains, which are produced by sacrifice to Vishnu. Prabhupada proposed that if men cultivated their own land and kept cows, they would have no economic problems. Krishna-conscious devotees would work in all ways of life within society. In fact, they could teach how to organize society according to God-conscious principles. While returning to the temple, Prabhupada asked, were my answers all right? One of the devotees replied that he thought the mayor considered the devotees beggars. Therefore, Prabhupada said, I told him about tilling the land. We are not beggars. We are giving the highest knowledge. I gave him a copy of Bhagavad Gita, the highest knowledge. He could not give us anything. So who is a beggar? When Prabhupada once mentioned, when he came to America from India, so normally Indian government that time, they were always begging America for give us some rice, give us wheat, give us dollars, give us this, give us that. And Prabhupada said, I did not come to beg here for anything. I have come to give the transcendental knowledge, which India has so much. And actually, this has been our shortcoming. What is India known for? Spirituality. And we are not giving it away. We are not preaching it to the world. And In one of the purports of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada wrote, this is the reason of the chaos in the world, because the Indians are not adopting the spirituality and not preaching it further out. So this is the knowledge we have to give, we should give. Prabhupada accepted an invitation in Geneva to speak at the World Health Organization of the United Nations. He also met at the temple with Indologist Jean Hartward and with several scientists and professors. One of Prabhupada's leading disciples, Karandhar, came to visit him in Geneva. Karandhar had left the movement 4 months before, being unable to follow strictly the 4 regulative principles. Up to that time, he had been the leading manager of ISKCON in the United States, and Prabhupada had depended heavily on him to deal with his Dai Nippon printers, to coordinate book distribution, and to collect funds from all the temples in the US. Since leaving, Karandhar had felt great remorse, had had a change of heart, and had telegrammed Prabhupada that he wanted to come and surrender at his lotus feet once again. Prabhupada had welcomed him back, and Karandhar had flown immediately to Geneva. See, this is something we have to learn from Prabhupada. Karandhar, I mean, wonderful service he did. He led the movement, but he just could not keep up with the 4 regulative principles. Maya is very, very strong. It's not that just because we have taken initiation, taken the vows, that, okay, now Maya is not going to affect us. Maya will test us at every single moment. Now, and people do break the principles. This is our shortcoming, no doubt. But Prabhupada, he said, it takes me gallons of blood to make a person a devotee. And we cannot just kick him out, kick him away. We have to give him a chance. Krishna also giving us a chance. It's not like once we make a mistake, Krishna is going to put us in hell eternally. No. Krishna is giving us chances again and again. So did Prabhupada. In fact, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, once he sent his disciples to start preaching in a place where there was, no preaching going on. So he sent his disciples, they started preaching there, and they preached very vigorously. Kirtan was going on, preaching, the prasadam distribution. So slowly, they made the congregation bigger, money was coming, and they decided to open up a temple. And the deities made the temple, constructed the temple, they invited Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj to come and inaugurate, do the deity installation. So the date was fixed. And it so happened, few days before the installation, or before Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was supposed to arrive, the temple authorities found one brahmachari was not dealing properly with some lady in the neighborhood. So, managing temple president chastised him, and the brahmachari left the ashram. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj came, and he was welcomed very nicely by the disciples, and he was very happy when he came to see the property and the enthusiasm of the devotees. He was very happy. But he was looking for that brahmachari, because he didn't see him in the crowd. He asked the temple authority, where is that devotee? I don't know the name of that devotee. So the management, they said he wasn't behaving appropriately. He did something. He broke the principles. So we chastised him and he left. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he got heavy. He got angry with the temple management. He said, it takes lots of efforts, make one person a devotee, not just kick him out. For me, all these temple, the big worship and everything project doesn't matter. The disciple, the devotees matter. So bring him back. Now, the whole community, whole temple management, they were now where to find him because nobody knew where he went. So they all ran, find out where is this devotee. Villages after villages, they were looking. They could not find him. And they knew if they cannot bring him back, Maharaj is going to be very upset. And probably he won't even go for deity installation. So one brahmachari among the group, he said, well, that particular brahmachari was very good at repairing watches because once my watch broke and in the ashram and he repaired it, he was very good, very expert. So he could be working at some watch repair shop. So they all went again. And one watch repair shop they went and they asked the owner, have you seen this so-and-so person? He said, yeah, he's in the back repairing watches. So the devotees went in the back and they saw this brahmachari, he was working. And the brahmachari, when he saw the devotees, he was so happy. He was saying, I was all praying to Krishna that I want to come back to the temple, but also embarrassed that I just didn't have the strength to come. And the devotees, they greeted him. They said, Guru Maharaj is waiting for you. He has sent us to bring you back. So just come back. And he came back. Siddhant Maharaj forgave him. He said, just get back to the service. So this was also Prabhupada's move. Unfortunately, that mood has changed now, for whatever reason. But this was Prabhupada's move. Prabhupada welcomed Karandar Prabhu back and Karandar had flown immediately to Geneva. After speaking for a few hours with Karandar, Prabhupada decided he would be just the man to take up the heavy responsibilities of GBC of India. From outside ISKCON to GBC of India. He should make his headquarters in Bombay and help the devotees there. There'd be no objection certificate. It was a bold move for Prabhupada, based on trust in his disciple and on the immediate need for Krishna-conscious leadership in India. He had his secretary immediately type a letter to the leaders of the temple in Hyderabad, Bombay, Calcutta, Mayapur, Delhi, and Vrindavan, authorizing Karandar's appointment as a new governing body commissioner for India. It's a great relief for me, Lord Prabhupada. Please give him all cooperation and work together for advancement of our mission to make the people of India Krishna conscious. So this is Prabhupada's vision. He also said that, yes, I have given or I am giving sannyas to so many youngsters. Young. Sannyas is generally not given before somebody is 50. And Prabhupada gave sannyas to 20, 30-year-old, not even 30, mid-20s-year-old disciples. And they were in the movement just a few years. But Prabhupada said this was the need of the hour. I had to expand the mission, expand the preaching. I had to take the risk, and I took the risk. And some of them fell down, which was going to happen, which is fine. But the idea was to preach all over the world. And in fact, one of Prabhupada's sannyasi disciples, at that time he was given sannyas and he was preaching in Japan. From America, he moved to Japan to preach. And as I said, Maya is very, very strong. So after Prabhupada left, this sannyasi disciple, you see, another thing that happens from another techniques that I've learned, techniques of, you can say, science. when we are chanting, when we are engaged in the spiritual practices, it's like cleansing of our heart. So they clean the heart. And what happens, the desires which are there from so many lifetimes, they started getting cleansed. They started actually, it's just like if there's a room full of dirt, and if I take a broom and start cleaning it, the dirt, yes, it will be start getting clean, but so much of dirt will be in the air also, dust in the air. And the dust will bother the person who's cleaning it. So what happens when we are chanting, the desires are there, so many ingrained desires from millions of lifetimes we are here. So the desires start coming out. So many desires get clean, but the desires, like the dust, come up and they bother the person who is cleaning. So many desires which we were not even aware of. They were not bothering us because the dust had settled, completely settled inside the heart. Now the cleaning process has started. Chetodarpan Marjana started. So of all the desires, the desire to satisfy ourselves illicitly, that is the desire that bothers the most. Most, because it's getting cleansed and it's coming up. And this world is called Methune Agar. We have the shackles of sex life. All we have to do is some people get victim of that, some people don't, and some people can curb those desires, engage ourselves in the devotional service so strongly, so vigorously, 24 hours, that those desires then don't bother us. They are there, but they don't bother. So we just have to be very, very careful. That's all. And at the same time, like Prabhupada showed compassion to Purandara and so many other devotees. So we have to show compassion to other devotees if they're going through some tough time and help them, engage in the service, help them in every way possible. Understanding it takes gallons of blood to make one person a devotee, and it takes just 1 second to kick him out. And if we are not compassionate, if we are not helpful to others, how can we expect Krishna to be compassionate or helpful to us? So we are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So sometimes we'll also have problems. So let's be compassionate. Let's help each other. Help each other grow spiritually. Not pull him down or kick him out and start rumors about it. No, that's not how it works. Paris, June 8th. 2,500 people in the audience as well as 50 devotees on stage awaited Srila Prabhupada's appearance at La Salle Pliel in Paris. After Kirtan, Prabhupada began his lecture by having a devotee read in the Bible from the Gospel of St. John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Prabhupada then spoke on the power of the holy name as transcendental sound. Many persons in the crowd were student radicals who specifically came to cause trouble. And Srila Prabhupada gave an analogy that agitated them, comparing the conditioned soul's existence in the material world to a citizen's punishment for breaking the laws of the state. As soon as Prabhupada said that the disobedient citizens would be punished, the students began to boo and yell. He was speaking in English, and his disciple, Jyotirmay Devidasi, was translating each line over the microphone in French. When the students began shouting, Prabhupada turned to Jyotirmaya and asked, "What are they saying?" "They don't like the example you have given," she replied, "because they don't like the government here." Srila Prabhupada then spoke back to the challengers. "You may not like it, but the fact of the matter is that if you break the laws, you will be punished." He was speaking of the absolute law of karma. But the student radicals took it politically. They continued shouting at Prabhupada. One man jumped up and shouted loudly in French, "You may be speaking spiritual things, but one thing I would never do is sit on a throne and demand that people bow down to my feet." At these words, the audience began applauding and whistling, chanting the words, "Har Tere, Har Tere." I don't know what it means. Oh, Prabhupada again asked for translation. Jyotirmay told him. They were shouting, "Get down." Returning the challenge, Prabhupada spoke strongly into the microphone. "I could speak to you from the floor also, but that does not mean you would understand any better. If you know the science of God consciousness, then you can sit on the Vyasasana, and they will bow down at your feet." Very strong reply. He said, "I can sit down on the floor and speak, but you will not. That doesn't mean you will understand." And he said, "You are also welcome to sit on the Vyasasana. If you're qualified, sit, and people will bow down at your feet." Prabhupada's strong reply brought silence to the hall, as if his answer had satisfied the challengers. Suddenly, a black man jumped up on the stage and addressed himself to the theater audience. He began by speaking in defense of Prabhupada and the devotees, but then he began speaking against them. Finally, he began speaking incoherently, and Prabhupada turned his disciples on stage and said, "All right, have Kirtan." The Kirtan, it works on everybody. The devotees rose with drums and kartals and began a rousing Kirtan. Most of the people in the attendance joined also, and the protests were drowned out. After this tumultuous scene, while riding back to the temple, Prabhupada said, in the future they should not give him a Vyasasana to sit on before public audiences. In the future, they should give him a simple cushion to sit on. He also doubted the value of explaining philosophy to such large audiences. For the balance of stay in Paris, he spoke to smaller groups who were actually interested to hear him. See, so much of struggle Prabhupada had to go through. It's amazing. Now, it's not like since Prabhupada is Mahabhagavat, pure devotee, everybody just came and listened to him and became devotees. No. Even he had to go through a lot. Only advantage is one those who even came to listen to him and had took his darshan, that they had accumulated plenty of Agyat Sukriti. So this lifetime, next lifetime, some other lifetime, definitely it will help them. But it's not like everybody who met Prabhupada, who saw Prabhupada, who heard Prabhupada, became a devotee. It didn't happen like this. So anyway, so now next stop is in Frankfurt, so we'll take it up tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all have said.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.